Hello everybody, this is Edward. Welcome back. And in this video, what I wanted to do is actually give people a bit more perspective in terms of how to add additional details. We're not gonna go too much into specifics on how to do that, but I'll just kind of give you a quick overview for now, and then we'll have different videos that will actually go in and we'll talk about specific techniques and ways of doing our textures and maps. So instead of actually modeling, for example, let's say that I want to give a little bit more realistic definition to the ear right here. So instead of modeling it, what we could do is actually use a displacement map. Now let me just kind of walk you through the steps. So first step, when we are starting to deal with textures, and it is important that our UVs are unfolded. So here I kind of went quickly ahead and unfolded this head. We can actually take a look at the actual seams right here. If I highlight border edges, let me turn that off. You can see where I have made how I placed all my seams, just kind of to break it into pieces that are easy to unfold, that we can lay out flat. And again, I will do a video that specifically talks about how to unfold our UVs in Maya. So now that we have our UVs unfolded, meaning that every face, every part of this model can have its unique texture information, what we can do is let's go ahead and duplicate it. I'm just gonna make a copy of that, and we're gonna smooth this geometry, because the next step would be for us to go in and sculpt. I actually want to smooth it even more. I want to have 2 divisions, maybe even 3, depending on how if I have enough edges here to sculpt. And also let's change this option here, keep borders off, and set it to 0. So we're also smoothing our border edges right here. So here is our mesh, and we can keep this one as it is. Maybe actually, how about we do go to 3. Yeah, that works. And another thing that we might want to change here is keep map borders. What we're trying to do here, notice that in the UV editor these edges are kind of stay original, they're not being smoothed. So we do want to also switch our keep map borders to none. We do not want to keep them, we also want to smooth them, because if we're going to smooth our geometry later, this also will need to get adjusted, and we will need to adjust our UVs. This way we won't. So let me put that aside. Now that I have this mesh here, I can duplicate it one more time, because we need an additional copy. And right now we can just simply grab our sculpt tool. Here is a little steps for the sculpt. I like to keep my options opacity low, and also control the maximum displacement, keep that also low so it's not pushing too hard. Plus, using a Wacom tablet also allows me to control the sensitivity. I will turn off show wireframe here, so I'm just looking at the geometry. And push, pull, and smooth, those are the main 3 options that we need, which we can control by either just simply using 1 and then using the control to switch to the opposite side, and shift to smooth. One other thing here that I would also want is my stroke to be in the reflection mode, so it's doing both sides at the same time. And we can go ahead and start sculpting our ear. That's a little bit too much. Let's see if we can adjust even more. Let's go ahead and do some there we go. So just take your time and sculpt it. You can actually use other softwares to sculpt, which actually have a bit better sculpting tools. So Maya is not big on sculpting, but it has some basic features. And of course, when you're sculpting, you need to be aware also of the topology and the shape that you're doing. You have to again have a good reference or understand the structure. Let's see here, we've got a little bit of cartridge here. So we're kind of close. I'm just gonna, I guess, stop with that. Not quite exactly how I would like it, but I think I can live with that for the demo purposes. Okay. So now that we have this shape sculpted, we can actually put it right over the other one. Let's set them back to 0. We can actually now move them back up here, and the next step that we will do is actually use a it's under rendering, texture, actually where is it, lights and shading transfer map. That's where we can create our displacement maps. So we're gonna take this as our target. This shape here, let me figure out, yeah, this shape here is gonna be the source. This is the one that we sculpted. We're gonna create a normal map, so I'll just do some basic options here. Let's just here dump it on the D drive. Let's call it ear. And we just need to change common resolution here to create a higher resolution file. 256 pixels is really small, and I'm not going too high either. 1024 for a normal map is maybe also small, but anyway, I think this should work. I'm not gonna do any other stuff here, and we're gonna say bake and close, and I'm gonna pause this video because right now Maya will take time to calculate. Okay, Maya is done calculating, and basically it automatically creates a shader and assigns it to the source geometry. So here, if we switch to our high quality render and hit 6 to see the texture, so you can see that right now we are looking at a normal map that shows the detail of that ear. So one other thing that we can do, because we do not want to be dealing with this high poly model here. Let me see, where is my original? There you go. And I'm gonna hide this head right here. So now we're back. This is a very low poly mesh, right? Let's grab our shader here. So this is the new shader with a normal map applied to it. Let's go ahead and apply that to our very simple low poly mesh. And notice that we have achieved a high level of detail without actually doing any more of any additional splits and cuts and extrudes and so forth. And we should be able to render it, no problem. In this particular situation, we would use a mental ray in order to render the smooth preview mode. We could use a different technique and render out a using the Maya software, but again, all of these details I'll cover in a different video. But this is just sort of to give everybody some perspective on how you can add the details and how it's important to keep the geometry simple and detach yourself when you're modeling, when you're starting your model. Try to concentrate on the major features and the proper edges and simple geometry. So I hope you guys learned something, and hope to see you guys back. Thank you.